Turn to shine again, Marvin.
Don't tell me it's Halloween already.
Only 3 days away, Mildred.
I know, but why rush it? A rotten day like Halloween.
Well, I have to take these decorations over to the hospital. We're having a party for the little deaf children over there.
Haven't they been through enough? I know it's a little early in the day, Mrs. McMillan, but you know what holidays do to me. Halloween's only the beginning. Then we have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. No, I don't think I'll really be myself again until sometime early in March.
March? What happened to February?
Yeah, well, I do start to taper off around Lincoln's birthday, but then we have Valentine's Day and, of course, George's birthday. No, I don't think you ought to count on me until sometime early in March.
I'll get that, Mildred. Hello? Oh, George, certainly I remember you. How are you? You're talking too fast. I can't understand you. Oh, sure, I'm coming over there anyway with some decorations. A half an hour? Well, I guess I could make it. What is it, George? What's wrong? Can't you tell me over the telephone? All right, George, room 112. I'll be there.
Don't tell me Halloween's gonna be early this year. I never forgave Roosevelt for moving up Thanksgiving.
It was George Comstock at the hospital. He says I'm in some sort of danger. Well, I don't know. He didn't make any sense. He just kept saying over and over again that I was in some sort of danger. Poor George. I hope he's going to be all right. He sounded so frightened.
Poor George. You're the one he said was in danger.
What kind of danger could I be in? And what would George Comstock know about it?
Well, he's a pharmacist, isn't he? Maybe somebody gave you a bum prescription.
Dr. Bleeker, please call extension 617. Dr. Bleeker, please call extension 617.
Hello, Sally. You need some help?
Sam, how are you?
Where's room 112?
112. It's down the hall.
You go on ahead, Mildred.
What are you running here? Halloween concession?
No, we're having a little...
Miss Crane, Miss Pam Crane, call extension 907.
Hey, what the... I just saw murder!
A what?
Man was being strangled right before my eyes.
We better take a look.
You can't, it's locked. Well, they were in here.
Like the door was locked?
If Mildred says she saw a murder, she saw a murder. Sally, what seems to be the trouble? Hi, Pam.
There was a murder, that's the trouble.
Mrs. McMillan's maid.
Housekeeper?
Fran.
Whoever. She thought she saw somebody being strangled.
Who did you see exactly?
Well, he was tall, and he had a mole right here.
George Comstock.
That was George Comstock?
Maybe they went through here.
Yes, ma'am?
Did you see anyone leave that room or room 112?
No, ma'am. The patients in both rooms checked out this morning. They've been empty since.
George called and he asked me to meet him in room 112. He kept saying over and over that I was in some sort of danger. I didn't realize that he was in danger, just trying to warn me.
Commissioner, room 112 is clean, sir. Nothing.
Thanks, Charlie. Well, we can't be sure of anything, of course, until we locate ComSec.
Then you better start looking for a corpse, Commissioner.
You say he's on vacation?
The corpse?
George Comsack is on vacation. However, I've sent for his wife. She's on her way over now.
But she works in the hospital, doesn't she?
Yes, an X-ray. But this is her day off.
Oh, good morning. Pam, I understand there's been some kind of confusion.
Yes, Doctor, but Commissioner McMillan is looking into it now. Of course, you've both met Dr. Ernest Bleecker, our resident celebrity.
Please. One best-selling diet book is hardly any claim to immortality.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, sir. I shall be grateful to you for the rest of my life. I bought your diet book this summer, and frankly, sir, it's made a new man of me.
Oh, good, good.
What's the matter, Mildred? You all right?
Yeah, I was just thinking how much this looks like the face of the murderer. Oh, it wasn't human, that face.
Enright, why don't you take Mildred and get this description in detail? That is, if you feel like it.
Anything to get out of the house, Commissioner.
Mac, I'm really worried about Mildred. It's quite a shock to see somebody murdered and then not even be able to prove it.
Yeah, it certainly is. But you're the one I'm worried about.
Me?
Yeah, aren't you the one he said was in danger?
Good point.
Any idea what he had in mind?
No, he just said that he had to talk to me and that he couldn't tell me over the phone.
Well, why room 112?
I don't know. He said that nobody would be there and that way we could talk privately.
How well do you know him?
Mac, I've talked to him a couple of times at the hospital. That's about it.
That's hardly the way George tells it, Mrs. McMillan.
Mrs. Comsack. This is George's wife. This is my husband, Stuart McMillan.
How do you do? When was the last time you saw your husband, Mrs. Comsack?
When he left to go fishing.
How do you get in touch with him?
Are you kidding? That's why he goes fishing, so I can't get in touch with him.
Where does he go?
Aren't you following any of this? He gets in his car and he goes till he finds a fishing hole he likes.
Do you always prefer separate vacations?
We prefer to do it all separately, Commissioner. That's the way we stay married. And, Mrs. McMillan, don't think you're the first one he ever asked to meet him, or even the first one he used the "you're in danger" bit with. But as far as I know, you are the first one he ever stood out.
When do you expect him back?
Which one of us are you asking? Because your wife is the last one who talked with him, Commissioner. Aren't you, Mrs. McMillan?
Well, tomorrow I'm going out to get my hair conditioned. It's a mess.
Tomorrow, you're not going to leave this house.
I'm not.
No.
Well, I can't live another day looking like this.
Live another day. Interesting you should choose that phrase.
Don't try and spook me.
Sally, if George Comsack was killed, that means the killer's still at large. And that means you're in great danger. Now, I don't want you to leave this house unless I'm with you. Promise me.
All right, anything you say.
Besides, your hair's in great condition.
Well, what about the rest of me?
You'll do in a pinch.
Who is that? It must be after midnight.
I don't know. Wait here, I'll go see.
I'll get it.
Mildred.
No, it's okay. Maybe he had the wrong house.
Is that for me?
Yes. Thought I told you to stay in bed.
Well, it wasn't the same without you.
Sorry to disturb you, Mildred. You can go to bed now.
Let's see.
What is it?
Mm-hmm. Film of some kind.
Must be something more, isn't it?
Mildred, it's after midnight. What do you expect after midnight?
Well, I must say it's a come down from last year.
What are you talking about?
Well, a package arrives every year just before Halloween.
Addressed to you?
Yeah, only she never wants them, so she gives them to me. Only even I don't want that one.
I always thought they were publicity gimmicks.
Publicity gimmicks? They're always so poetic. I mean, until now. Very upset about that one.
What were the other presents?
I'll get them. You'll love them.
No, you don't have to bother, Mildred.
I'll model them for you.
You know, I don't even remember the other ones. I just remember they were tacky. Hey, where are you going?
Bed?
I want to see the film.
Don't you want to go to bed?
I want to see the film.
All right, we'll see the film.
Besides, Mildred's going to model those little things for us.
Oh, yeah.
Here. Guess who I saw at the hospital today?
Who?
Sam Burke.
Sam Burke?
He was doing some research on a malpractice case, I think.
Research.
I know what you're thinking, Mac, but you're not responsible.
He's one of the best legal minds in the country.
He was caught bribing a juror. You can't just let somebody get away with something like that.
Okay, everybody.
Mildred, what are you doing?
This came the first year.
When was that?
3 years ago. I put it on that very day, and I've worn it ever since. Off and on, of course. Off when I'm asleep and on when I'm awake.
Mildred, I didn't know those things meant that much to you.
Oh, it isn't the presents, Mrs. McMillan. It's what they seem to promise. Of course, I didn't expect anything the second year either, but then the day before Halloween, this arrived. Nice, huh?
Now I remember what came last year. Some kind of jewelry, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. This ring. Gorgeous, huh? Would you get the lights?
Let me see the ring.
Would you get the
Will
lights?
you let me see the ring?
You know, I can remember just seeing somebody wearing something like this, but I can't remember who.
Yeah, now that, right?
Maybe it's a preview of coming attractions. Flip it on.
Why would anyone send me this?
Apparently, they're trying to tell you something.
What?
George Comstock was trying to tell you something, too, and look where it got him. What kind of a Halloween party is this, anyhow?
Looks like some sort of devil worship to me.
Satanism? Boy, it's the last time I accept an anonymous present.
Mac, you don't suppose there's a connection between this and George Comstock's warning, do you?
I hope not. But I'm not going to ignore the possibility.
You know, this is the first time all day that I felt frightened.
I wish I could say that.
Dr. Bleeker, please call extension 617. Dr. Bleeker, please call extension 617.
Oh, Sam? How are you? Hello, Dr. Bleeker. I'm looking for Sergeant Enright. You seen him?
As a matter of fact, yes. He's in our morgue.
Hi, Commissioner. I was just checking out the morgue.
Obviously.
Yes, sir. And as you can see, it's just a great big empty room, so to speak, with no regular attendant.
Which means Comsack's body could have been lying here with a sheet over it, and nobody would have known the difference.
Well, sir, I've checked them all out. In fact, that's what I was doing when you just came in.
I didn't mean it could still be here.
No, sir.
Still working on the case of the missing corpse, Sergeant?
This is the orderly who was in the corridor yesterday, sir. Erwin Blake, Commissioner McMillan.
Yes, Mr. Blake. Yesterday you reported that no one entered or left room 112 or the adjoining room at the time of the murder, correct?
That's right, sir. And that does include stretcher cases.
I think it's safe to assume that stretcher cases don't get around much on their own.
Did you get that? What? What's wrong?
Mrs. McMillan, you should have heard what they were saying about me.
You mean there was more than one person on the phone?
Yeah, two. They were talking to each other about me. I got in on it by accident, cross wires or something. But, Mrs. McMillan, they're coming to get me with a trunk. I mean, in my size, petite.
Cans, water-soaked sneakers. Two of the boots even matched.
But no body.
No body.
They found a trunk, sir.
Empty.
We didn't really expect to find a body, Mildred, but you have to check these things out. That phone call was rigged.
You mean they knew I was listening?
Yesterday, they tried to make it look as though you were seeing things, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well, today, they tried to make it look as though you were hearing things.
That's what they call discrediting a witness.
Oh. Hey, wait a minute. How dare they?
It's done all the time.
I don't mean discrediting me. I mean calling me funny looking when they knew I could hear every word they were saying.
If you have another nightcap, Mildred, you won't have a head to wear it on.
Mildred, why don't you just go to bed? You've had a pretty rough day.
Yeah.
Okay, but not until I turn down your beds.
Don't bother, Mildred.
It's no bother, Commissioner, and I've never missed an evening. And so far, we've all gotten along perfectly. This is not the night to start changing things. The killer, the man who murdered George Comsack, he was peeking in the bedroom window.
Oh, upstairs, Mildred? The upstairs window?
Oh, no.
What's wrong, Mildred?
Oh, this is a two-story house.
I know that, Mildred.
I know you know that, but do you know how tall a peeping Tom has to be to look in a bedroom window on the second floor?
Well, it's obviously some sort of a trick, Mildred. Mac will explain it.
Did you get a good look at him, Commissioner?
No, he got away.
Did you see the ladder?
There wasn't any.
How could there not be a ladder when he was looking in the second-story window?
I don't know.
Oh, well, as long as you've explained it, I feel better. What's that you're holding?
Found it in the bushes, below our bedroom window. Mildred, you weren't hallucinating. Not at all. Though they almost had me convinced.
Had you convinced? They almost had me convinced.
That's a lovely medallion.
Yeah, it's more along the lines of what I was expecting last night. Matches this ring. This came last year. Hey, you folks look like you could use a drink. Nightcaps for everybody, okay?
Mildred, let me see that ring again. Mildred. If they do match, I'll have a double.
I think I'll have a double anyway.
Here, why don't we look at them both together?
Mildred, the ring.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mildred.
Commissioner, I got so interested in all of this, I worked straight through lunch. Now, as you can see, the markings on the ring and the medallion are identical. And they're both ancient Egyptian
Hieroglyphics.
glyphics. Thank you, sir. Do you think it's a direct link to Satanism?
Well, worship of the devil does date back to the ancient Egyptians.
Do you really believe Linda Comstock's involved?
She was wearing a medallion like this.
Mrs. Comsack.
Linda? Linda? Linda, do you hear me? Linda, you are in the city of London, and the year is 1728.
Why do they keep pushing me? Stop shoving. Let me breathe. What are they saying about me? Filthy swine. How dare they? It could be any one of them up here instead of me. I'm innocent. I found him lying dead. I did. I loved my husband. What do they care? A hanging's just another holiday, so long as it's somebody else's neck.
Oh, I see. She's on her way to be hanged for the death of her husband.
Apparently.
Listen to the piper. Listen to him. We're almost there, aren't we? Yes. There it is. There's the scaffold. Well, it's almost over now. Oh, God, help me. Help me, God, help me, please. What's this? A carrot. And a cabbage. Cabbages and carrots? Here, take these, my lovelies. They belong to you. You're the swine. Take your hands off me, you idiots. I can climb these steps alone. Now the noose. A pretty necklace. Such an innocent neck.
All right, bring her up.
As God is my witness.
Let her finish.
Door.
Linda, you're back home. You're back home, Linda. Linda?
You do this often?
Well, yes, her husband suggested it, and it's going quite well. I've taken it back through 6 incarnations.
Will she remember anything about what she's just been through?
Oh, no, but we have it on tape.
Well, I need to ask her some questions. Is she up to it?
Commissioner, what are you doing here? Isn't enough to interfere in my present life. Must you get involved in my past lives, too?
Professor?
Linda, you all right, dear?
I need to talk to you in my office this afternoon, Professor. Sergeant Enright will set the time.
Me? Why me?
Because you're the foremost authority on Satanism in this part of the world.
Well, I'm quite surprised. I mean, the police commissioner being interested in Satanism, it's quite an honor.
Yes. Until later.
That's amazing. Truly is amazing. Tell me, when did you first find that you were interested in the occult?
Why did your husband suggest you try retrogression?
He thought it might help. I'll be frank. I'm not an easy person to live with. He sensed I had other lives locked inside me.
Belief in reincarnation is one of the principal tenets of Satanism, isn't it? Are you and your husband members of a coven?
As I told you before, Commissioner, George and I never do anything together. What he does on his nights out is his business. As for me, I've never been a joiner.
Is your husband a member?
We never discussed it. But it does sound a little like old George.
You were wearing a medallion the other day. Do you know where it is now?
Oh, it must be around here somewhere.
Where did you get it, Mrs. Comsack?
George gave it to me. Why?
Because it's a symbol of a coven. And if you're telling me the truth, I don't think you'll ever see it again.
Oh, it's bound to be around here someplace. I'm careless.
But they aren't. And I'm sure they wouldn't want your husband to be found connected with them. Have you heard from him?
I told you he's on vacation. And if your wife hasn't heard from him, maybe Pam Crane's gotten a postcard.
Pam Crane? Another fishing companion?
That's right.
Do these fishing companions bother you?
Oh, you're adorable. You are. Do you actually think I'd kill George because he was having an affair? His 15th affair, or is it his 26th? If jealousy were my motive, why would I wait this long to kill him? Come on, Commissioner. Surely you've seen hundreds of murderers in your time. Look at me. Look into these laughing, loving eyes. Do you actually think I could murder someone? Especially my own husband.
It happened before. It could happen again. Play the tape back. If you have the time.
Mildred, that's not what I think it is.
Well, Halloween comes but once a year, Mrs. McMillan.
After all you've been through.
Yeah, I know. 2 peeks at a killer and a probable attempt at my own life at any moment. What's that? I may hate it, but I have to face it. In this neighborhood, I am Halloween. All year long.
Mildred, you just didn't want to let the kids down. You've got the biggest heart in the neighborhood.
And the best legs.
Yeah.
How about your diet?
What about it?
That's right. What about it? Listen, is the commissioner really going to solve this?
He's trying, Mildred. Just don't tell him about the ice cream.
Yeah, right. Gotcha. Trying. Trying is not solving.
And like it or not, Mrs. Crane, you are deeply involved in it.
Frankly, I don't believe there was a murder. Some mix-up, perhaps.
Perhaps the mix-up was between you and George Comstock.
And what's that supposed to mean?
I was just talking with his wife.
Have you bothered asking her how she's been spending her time? At least George and I have kept our friendship behind closed doors. Nurse Comstock and Dr. Bleeker seem to have a penchant for carrying on in corridors. And to pursue the matter further, if George was murdered here, it obviously had to be arranged by someone with enough influence to make bodies disappear. An important doctor, perhaps?
I'm sorry to disappoint you, Commissioner. But my argument in the corridor with Nurse Comstock was hardly a lover's quarrel. It had something to do with carelessness on her husband's part in filling a prescription. And frankly, I don't understand why any of this should concern you.
Dr. Bleeker, 2 days ago, a man telephoned my wife and told her she was in great danger. He then, at the very least, disappeared. We now have a witness who swears she saw him murdered in this very hospital. Now, when I find out why he was murdered, or at least why he's missing, then I'll know why my wife is in great danger, and that's why all of this concerns me. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go to the devil.
As a matter of fact, belief in the supernatural has existed since the beginning of recorded history. Horned creatures have been found painted on the walls of some of our most primitive caves, which shows that the worship of the devil was man's first religion. And it's been like that from time to time, one form or another, right down to today. You'd be surprised at the number of covens that exist right here in San Francisco.
Mac?
Oh, Professor asked my wife to join us. Professor Zagmeyer.
Blessed be. Blessed be.
This is my wife, Sally McMillan. This is Professor Zagmeyer.
How do you do?
Blessed be. Blessed be.
Professor, these are the gifts I was telling you about. Sally's received one each year for the past 3 years.
Always just before Halloween.
Is there any connection with Satanism?
Mrs. McMillan, please forgive me for staring at you the way I am, but you look so familiar to me.
Well, I don't think we've met before, have we, Professor?
Not in this life, perhaps.
Professor.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Yes, the bell, garter, ring. Now, the bell is used at the beginning of each ritual. That is used to scare away the unfriendly spirits. It's quite an antique. This bell must have been the scourge of 1,000 halls. The garter is the badge of high priestess. Each silver buckle stands for a coven that she rules. These 4 silver buckles means the goddess who wore this one was a queen of witches.
Well, what about the ring, Professor?
The ring is worn to protect one from one's enemies.
Professor, how well did you know George Comstock?
Oh, well, he was introduced to me because of his interest in Satanism, and after he'd known me for some time, he introduced his wife to me. Thought she might prove to be a good subject for my experiments in retrogression. And as you saw this morning, she proved to be quite excellent.
Was he a member of a coven?
Of my coven? No. Oh, now, don't be surprised that I worship what I study. Scholarship is the highest token of esteem. Yes, I belong to a coven. I'm a high priest.
What about Comstock's death? Is there any connection with Satanism?
You mean a ritual death? Oh, no.
Why not?
Well, we Satanists today don't perform that ritual. And even if it were performed, it wouldn't happen in a hospital.
But what if somebody did break the law of a coven?
We Satanists don't put out contracts on each other like our Christian counterparts. However, non-believers have been known to use Satanism as a cover-up of their motives for murder.
You mean like a murder plan to look as if it happened in the middle of a robbery?
Exactly.
How often does your coven meet, Professor?
As a matter of fact, there's going to be one tonight. Mrs. McMillan, would you and your husband honor me by attending? Then you could see that Satanism is a form of worship, nothing more. Mrs. McMillan, please?
Well, we'd be delighted, Professor. It'll prove to be an interesting evening.
Interesting? I hope it'll prove to be unforgettable.
Level with a pal. It's all a put-on, right?
It is not a put-on.
Well, it is not a camera.
According to Simpson, it is a camera.
Jeez. It is a camera.
How about a profile? 4 for a quarter, you know.
I just hope they don't spot it.
They won't. I was a smuggler in my last life.
Oh, I wonder what I was in my last life.
Well, whatever you were. I'm sure I was just as crazy about you as I am now.
How did you know that was going to be my next question?
Because I'm a psychic.
Well, that's good. I think it'll come in handy tonight. You don't think we're walking into a trap, do you, Mac?
We've been in a trap ever since Comsack's death. I hope we learn something tonight to help get us out of it.
So do
Still wearing that ring.
I. I know. I just feel safer with it on.
You're frightened.
Well, I'm frightened of things I can't understand.
Blessed be. Blessed be. Blessed be.
After all this, Halloween should be quite a come down.
Bright, O horned one, we call thy name into the night, O ancient one. Come to where the round of dance is trod, horn and hoof of goat-foot God. Queen of heaven, queen of hell, send your aid unto the spell, horned hunter of the night, work my will by magic right.
I really don't want to stay for the rest of this.
Welcome to our great Sabbat.
Sorry we can't stay any longer, Professor Zagmeyer. We simply must get ready for Halloween. It's a big holiday at our house. Popcorn balls, candied apples, the works. Yeah, good night.
You know, Mac, they were saying exactly the same thing that Zagmeyer said when he met me today.
Yeah, I noticed. Blessed be, blessed
Now,
be.
why would they say that?
I don't know. I think it every time I see you.
You never say it.
I just said it.
What about those masks? Why would they wear those?
Same reason anybody wears a mask. Hide their identity. That could be it.
What?
Mildred said the murderer was some kind of a monster.
Of course he was wearing a mask.
Later, he put it on a pole and put it up by our second-story window.
That's how he got away so fast.
Wonder where they get those masks.
I don't know.
Wonder where they got that ghost head.
Oh. Sam Burke has a goat's head just like that in his den. He showed it to my mother and me once.
And the case he was trying when he was disbarred.
That's right. It was that man with a weird
Yeah,
name. He was being accused of murder. What was his name?
Garu, Stefan Garu.
That's right.
And he was a Satanist.
He was.
Hello? Sam? Sam? Happy Halloween, Fred. A little early, Sam. And where did you get that mask?
Just calm down, Mac. This is my house. I have the right to celebrate the holiday any way I choose.
Well, why did you choose that mask, Sam?
Why not? Remind you of somebody you know?
You know as well as we do that's a mask that Comstock's killer wore.
Yeah, but I had to think fast. At least give me credit for that. I didn't even know you were going to drop by until I saw you get out of the car. Of course, I had to have something special to mark the occasion. Would you like some wine?
Yes, please.
It's been a long time since the two of you have come calling. See if my memory serves me. The last time the two of you were here for dinner, I was a prominent lawyer, complete with wife. Beautiful wife. You remember Stella, don't you? I remember Stella.
I saw Stella the other day, Sam. She's fine.
And happy.
She still loves you a lot.
Well, so much for the past.
We're not here to talk about the past, Sam.
Well then, Mac, I guess that just leaves us at a standstill, since I never even think about the future.
I'd like to take a look at your den. Do you mind?
Of course not. I don't have any secrets from you. You, let them all out to the public, remember?
When'd you get into all this?
When you got me out of the legal profession. Through my last client, as a matter of fact. This was his house.
It looks like it came straight from the Middle Ages.
It almost did. It's an authentic copy, stone for stone, of a shrine in Poland. Yes, Stefan Garou was quite a man. Didn't even blame me for losing the case. In fact, he gave me his incantation to Lucifer. Satan, we defy your majestic evil.
Sam, what do you know about Comstock's connection with Satanism?
I'm afraid I'm just an amateur at all this, Mac. Oh, I find it amusing, but I never take it seriously.
What about your friend Garou? Does he take it seriously?
Yes, quite. In fact, I regret he's not here tonight. But I can show you where you can find him.
This is a cemetery.
Yes, and do have a good interview. Satan! Satan! Burn me in damnation for my sin. It's all fake, you know that, don't you?
Fail to notice how my little camera really came through for you, Commissioner. Just look at those shadows. Sharp. Sharp if I do say so, and I do say so.
Yes, you do. Now, what about the other blow-ups?
You have only to ask. Oh, any special reason for this one?
Oh, well, that's just a little cheesecake.
Simpson, is this the only blow-up you made from all that film sent to Mrs. McMillan?
I chose the best shot. Saves time, saves money. In fact, some people call me One-Shot Simpson.
Mac, this is definitely not the place we were last night.
And the man that sent you the film clip obviously belongs to a different coven.
But they're all wearing the same masks. You couldn't identify anybody in this picture or the other picture. Except for this man. Look, the one wearing the ring.
What about him?
Well, that could be George Comstock. He had a ring just like that.
Then his warning must have something to do with this coven.
Oh. I wish this weren't Halloween. Frightened enough without all those ghosts and goblins running around all over everywhere.
That's why I want you with me. I don't want you home alone.
Well, I wouldn't be alone. Mildred is there.
I repeat my statement. One shot?
Yes, sir.
I want you to make a blow-up of every frame out of that film clip.
Right.
And right, we've got to find this coven.
Yes, sir. Especially since Halloween is the big night on a devil worshipper's calendar.
And it ends at midnight.
Yes, Halloween, Eve of All Souls Day. It's a very important occasion to all those who refuse to accept the finality of death. And that's all I can tell you, Commissioner. Our secrets are not revealed to outsiders.
Well, at least tell us the meaning of that greeting that I keep getting.
Greeting?
You know the greeting, the one that you gave me when you first met me. Blessed be, blessed be.
I thought I knew you. I was startled.
Your whole group said it last night. Were they all startled?
Yes, they felt an alien presence, outsiders.
Professor, you're lying.
I am terribly sorry, Commissioner, but there's nothing more to tell you.
You mean that's all you will tell us?
What are you afraid of, Professor? Who killed George Comsack?
I do not know, Commissioner, but we do demand our right to worship majestic Satan. And by the way, we do not kill. We do not kill!
McMillan.
Commissioner, I found Burke's secretary at home, but she says he didn't come to the office today, and she doesn't know where he can be reached.
Well, keep looking till you find him. I want to talk to him tonight.
Yes, sir. I'll put out an APB on him.
Right.
Ooh, I don't know why I get the feeling there's more ghosts out this year than last year.
We'll be home soon.
Real crazy living there.
Pretty kitten, would you like to come and live with me, my pretty?
No.
Oh, well, then I think I'll choose a nice, juicy goblin.
Okay, Mildred, cut the corn and bring out the donuts, all right?
Boy, you guys are real spoil sports, aren't you? Here. All right, some fun, those kids.
Hello? Sally? Hello? Yes, Dr. Bleeker. Oh, well, that's good news. Let me speak to my wife, will you please?
I'm sorry she's already left. Yes, by taxi. Well, your housekeeper's doing so well, I didn't think there was any need for her to stay.
Well, thanks for calling, Doctor.
Surely.
She hasn't even moved, Doctor.
Oh, she suffered a mild concussion. She needs some rest. She'll be fine by tomorrow. Why don't you let me drive you home now?
Oh, no, I can't leave.
Oh, we'll take good care of her, don't worry.
I don't want to leave her alone. Please let me stay, Doctor.
Now, look. You better get some rest, too. You've been under a very severe strain. Here, I give you a couple of pills.
Oh, no, I'm fine.
Oh, nothing heavy, just something to calm you down.
But I don't take sedatives.
Oh, I wouldn't call these sedatives. More like a glass of warm milk. Come on now. Doctor knows best.
All right.
I'm worried about Mildred, sir. I hope it's not serious.
Dr. Bleeker says she just has a mild concussion, so she's gonna be all right. Sally will have a full report. She should be here by now. It's been over 45 minutes. No, it's not like Sally to leave Mildred like that.
Don't worry about Mrs. McMillan, sir. She knows exactly what she's doing. Hey! In all this excitement, I almost forgot why I came here.
What?
I located Comsack's body.
Where?
In a funeral parlor.
How'd you find that out?
Well, you see, the hospital morgue had 4 bodies registered that day, but they shipped out 5. So I just kept on checking until I located the extra one, complete with fake papers.
This is Commissioner McMillan. I want you to check all the cab companies and see if Mrs. McMillan left Century Hospital within the last 45 minutes.
Mrs. Comsack made a positive identification, sir.
Good work, Sergeant. I'll wait.
Well, it's all in the line of duty, sir. And we finally located Burke. He'll be at home tonight if you want to talk to him.
Thank you. I said I'll wait.
I'm sorry about my stomach, sir, but it's been rumbling like this ever since I started Dr. Bleeker's diet.
You should eat more. Have you had your dinner?
You bet. I wouldn't dare miss a meal on this diet. You'd die. Actually, tonight's was pretty good. A giant sunflower seed salad.
Ugh.
Well, that's what the pharaohs used to eat, you know.
No wonder King Tut died when he's 18. You know, if there's anything I hate is being held on hold.
Yes, sir. You know, Dr. Bleeker goes back centuries for all of his recipes. You know so much about it, you almost think he lived in those times.
Well, maybe he did. Or thinks he did. Century Hospital? This is Commissioner McMillan. I'd like to speak to my wife, please. Oh, she's already left. Then let me speak to Dr. Bleeker. Oh, he has.
So nice, Doctor. So nice of you to drive me home.
It's right on my way, Sally.
It's so sweet. Just like warm milk.
Bleeker? Remind you of anybody you know?
I could swear it was Mrs. McMillan, sir.
Yeah.
Serena? 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 Serena, I have tried to make you realize who you are. For 3 years. But you kept ignoring my little gifts. You may have another name in this incarnation, but you'll always be the goddess Serena.
Sally. Where? Where does their coven meet?
Well, Commissioner, people usually say hello
Come off it, Sam. Where is she?
How do I know, huh? What do you think, this is a crystal
They're
ball?
going to kill her, you know that?
As a matter of fact, I don't. Do you want a drink?
No, I want an answer.
That's too bad, because I need a drink.
Look, listen to me. They're going to kill Sally. You know that, you know where, and you're going to tell me.
Well, the great attorney McMillan on the attack. How do you know so much? Oh, I see. You think I'm drunk because I got a bad conscience, because maybe I should have told you what was going to happen tonight, right?
Right.
Wrong, baby. I'm celebrating the pain that's twisting around in that stomach of yours. The pain that's going to make you see how I felt when my world fell apart.
And you blame me?
You could have been
I could have what? Shoved it under a rug? Told the judge you never bribed a juror? All right. Right. Shoot. But at least have the guts to kill me, not Sally. And after you've killed me, have the decency to tell him where they've taken her.
Damn, Mac. You still present the best brief in town.
Sam, please.
All right. I know why, but I don't know where.
The goddess Serena? 14th century?
They believe the body of Serena has been invaded by an alien spirit who wants to take over the cult. The high priest feels he must kill her at midnight. It's the only way the cult can survive.
But you don't know where? Well, then how do you know all this?
I move in the circles of hell. They're the only ones left open to me.
Is this their shrine?
The one they used in the 14th century, right?
But Stefan Garou had it copied stone for stone, didn't he? This shrine's right here in San Francisco.
I'd hoped the ringing of the bell would awaken you. The garter was, of course, to remind you of your deity.
Where are we going? Where are you taking me?
To your shrine. Your followers are waiting.
What do they want?
To return you to the dead, where you belong, and leave us our cult.
You had Mildred hurt, so that I'd have to come to the hospital tonight.
The survival of the cult depends on its high priest, my dear.
It's 7 minutes, Sergeant. 7 minutes until midnight.
Well, we'll make it, sir.
Scourge the hall. Let our enemies depart. Banish all alien spirits from our midst. We offer unto you, O Horned One, our beloved, sleeping goddess Serena.
All right, get him out of here.
took you so long?
I didn't know I was looking for a goddess. I was just looking for my wife.
Well, believe me, that's all you've got. Like my hair?
Thought I told you to stay in the house.
How can I enjoy it?
Mildred, you didn't miss anything. It was just an everyday, ordinary Halloween. Now, get some rest and we'll see you tomorrow.
Are you kidding? I'm not gonna get a wink of sleep here. And I'm certainly not gonna take any of their sedatives. What I need is a good belt of you-know-what.
What you need is a good rest. That's what you've been telling me for months. This is your chance. Now enjoy, would you? Remember, Thanksgiving's only a few weeks away, and you know what that does to you.
Now listen, how can I enjoy it? I'm not even gonna get to turn down your bed. And I've never missed a night, you know.
Listen, Mildred, I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna get into it anyway. Mac. Now, would you just go to sleep? Now, goodbye.
I've never missed a night. I won't sleep away.
Good night, Mildred.
Tomorrow, I am gonna get my hair done.
As long as you don't come out looking like the sleeping goddess Serena. Sleeping goddess Serena. I rather like the sound of that. Except, how does a mere mortal make love to a goddess?
Well, as mortals go, you'll do.
Are you sure the commissioner's gonna meet us at the plane on time, Mrs. McMillan?
Don't worry, Mildred. He'll be there. Well, Sergeant, you can still change your mind and take your vacation with us.
Scotland's special to the commissioner, Mrs. McMillan. But the beach is better at Acapulco.
If you like one beautiful day after another.
This is Commissioner McMillan. Police Unit Y33, heading west of Duquesne in pursuit of Levinson in a tan sedan. License number 907, Oscar Lima Kilo.
This is Police Unit Y29, responding as backup pursuit.
Hope he's careful.
He better be. He has the tickets.
Book him. I have to be at the airport in 15 minutes.
This is just beautiful country.
Yeah, it sure is. I spent every summer here when I was a kid.
You know, I've never met a Laird. What do I call your uncle? Laird McMillan?
I'm sure he'll want you to call him Uncle Mike.
Listen, we've been driving around this lake for an hour.
Lock.
All right, Lock.
Small but rugged. Half mile across, 100 around, they say.
What are they looking for?
Oh, the Lochmoran monster.
Monster?
Mm-hmm. He's seen mostly in the gloaming. That means twilight. By people who spend an hour or two in the pub.
Yeah, that means bar. That's right, uh-huh. Well, I wouldn't mind drinking for a good cause. Wonder if the scotch is any good here.
Ah, here we are.
Mac, look at that tower. There ought to be a princess locked up in there.
It's a watchtower. Uncle Michael's probably up there right now, doing his accounts. Uncle Michael! Uncle Michael!
Uncle Michael! Oh, he's inside. You'll be Stuart, his nephew. He's expecting your arrival.
Is there a key? There's no key. It's bolted
I
inside.
remember a window.
An arch is slit only 4 inches wide.
And 60 feet up. We'd best break down the door. Excuse me, sir. That does it.
Old man, why did you do that?
Uncle Michael.
Why?
I don't understand.
Why?
He asked me to meet him here.
Oh.
I'm a solicitor, his attorney. 3:15, he said.
Why?
Now, why would he make an appointment if he was planning to do it?
Why?
I'll get the door, Jen. There was a man. I suppose I've been saying that for the last hour. I share your sorrow.
Desmond! Desmond! We just heard about it.
Mr. McMillan, this is
Jimmy.
Mac,
Sorry.
it's been a long time.
Certainly has.
This is my fiancée, Nell Barry. Is it true? Did he kill himself?
He was found alone with a gun in the tower room. The bullet matches the gun, and the powder burns are what they seem. In any case, you'll be free now, Jamie, to sell the castle.
If he sells.
Oh, he'll sell, lassie. Your fiancé looks like a McMillan, and the law makes him the new laird. But he has not a Scotsman's taste for the hard work.
Desmond, that was quite uncalled for.
He's right, though, you know, Nell. If I were English, I would be known as a wealthy eccentric. But we Scots, we don't have wealthy eccentrics. We just have ne'er-do-wells.
What do you do now, Jamie?
Well, at the moment, Nell and I are on the committee for the Heelan Games. In fact, we are the committee.
Ooh, there's a job for you now. 3 light days of duty every other year. Between times, he sells souvenir programs at Coronation.
Yeah, you do have the light touch there, Desmond. Well, you seem to have things well in hand, and Oh, we have business. The games will go on, of course.
Of course.
Grandfather would have wanted it that way.
Jamie, do you think your grandfather would be the sort of man who would kill himself?
Well, he wasn't the sort.
No, he wasn't.
But what about all the evidence?
What about the evidence that he wasn't the sort?
I'd like to think that he didn't. I was a great disappointment to him. But I really loved that old man.
Mac, do you think the shot could have come from there?
It's the Crofter's cottage, too far away.
It's direct line of vision.
Couldn't be the lawn. Would have seen him from the driveway. Couldn't be the gully. It's an impossible angle.
Well, according to Mr. Ramsey, the McCready ghost is our prime suspect.
The McCready ghost? Glad Mr. Ramsey isn't staying for dinner. I'd sure hate to hear that dull story again. He is staying for dinner.
Well, he said it was a great story. Of course, he did say it was better on a dark and stormy night.
Maybe we'll get lucky.
Mr. Ramsey's going to tell us some castle ghost stories.
A monster in the lake and a ghost in the castle, some vacation.
In the war against the Sacking, the English, Castle Kinross was the headquarters for two clans, the McMillan and the McCready. The laird of the castle was the great Ian McMillan, and 4 of his 5 lieutenants were McMillans. The 5th one being Fergus McCready, referred to by some as Fergus the Infamous. Oh, no need for alarm, only lying down. The authorities will restore power presently.
What is presently?
Somewhere between 2 minutes and a week.
Oh, it sounds like home.
On the eve of the Battle of Kinross, Ian and his chieftains galloped over to the castle in order to hide the McMillan treasure. Having done so, they were returning to the battlefield when suddenly Ian noticed that he had but 4 companions.
Fergus.
Aye, indeed. Returning to the castle, they found Fergus hidden in an alcove within the castle walls. If its walls you love more than honor, raged Ian, then its walls ye shall have. And he and his men began to seal Fergus up into the alcove. As the last heavy stone was emplaced, Fergus rose up and hurled forth his terrible curse. I shall not die. McMillan walls will not outlast McCready vengeance. And when I break free, woe to the McMillan laird, whoever he be then, for his life shall be forfeit. And so shall the lives of all his kinsfolk, even to their wives and servants. Ian and his chieftains were killed by the Sassenach, and the castle was ransacked. And a feud began between the 2 clans that has lasted for several centuries. Legends die hard in the healing. Ah, we see. If I might have a wee drop more of the port. Oh, Mrs. McTaggart, would you be so kind as to fetch my coat? As for myself, I neither believe in ghosts nor blood feuds, or I'd never have been attorney to the McMillan laird.
You're a McCready?
Aye. Full-blooded. My grandfather died at 90, and it was his proudest boast that he'd ever spoken to a McMillan. Of course, that's pure Hieland superstition. But still, in my grandfather's honor, and to a spirit free at last, up the McCready. A magnificent dinner, I thank you kindly. Good night, McMillan.
I'm not nervous.
I'm glad you told me. Ready for bed?
Anytime. Mac, look. I thought this was your Uncle Michael's blood, but look, there's a nick on Bobby's ear. Mac, do you think there was somebody in the room? Do you think he was trying to defend his master, and when he did, do you think there's a connection?
Not quite. A man with a knife kills my uncle, nicks the dog's ear, then cuts himself into 4-inch strips and throws himself out through an archer's slit that wide. Go back to the ghost in the wall or the monster in the lake. Or better yet, come to bed.
Oh, I couldn't sleep with all this going on.
Try it.
Mac? Mac?
What is it?
The lights have gone out again.
It's a storm, Mildred.
Now, but listen, there's something in the walls. Listen. Well, it stopped, but I heard scraping, like somebody clawing, but from inside the
You heard
wall.
a ghost story as a power of suggestion.
You heard a ghost story. I heard scraping.
All right, all right. We'll find the noise or the bar.
I'll settle.
You want to go too?
What do you think?
The bar's in the great hall. I am. Be quiet. Bobby! It's ice cold.
Mildred.
Now, I'm partial deaf, you know, but not so deaf as to sleep through this sort of larking about. Oh, out the window. What's that?
Somebody running.
Enright, Commissioner. Well, come on in.
Here, over the drain.
Drain?
Oh, were you expecting this gentleman?
I was just ringing the doorbell.
No, you weren't. The power's off.
Huh?
Did you see anybody out there?
No, sir, I was looking in, not out.
What are you doing here?
Well, it all started out as a joke.
A joke?
Yeah, well, suddenly it doesn't seem very funny. You see, I never really planned to go to Acapulco. I was always planning to come here and stay with you.
Well, why didn't you?
Well, I thought it'd be very funny if I took a later plane. And that way, you'd be so surprised to see me that you'd be glad to see me.
Well, we're always glad to see you, Sergeant.
Thank you, Mrs. McMillan.
We asked you to come along with us in the first place.
Thank you, too, sir. It's just wonderful being here.
How did you get here? I didn't hear a car.
Well, I rented one at the airport. Well, I was driving on the wrong side and someone ran me up a ditch off the road.
Well, you're here safely now. I bet you're hungry.
The kitchen is closed. Yeah, but the bar's still open.
Mildred.
I suppose you'll be wanting a room. You can have your choice, with or without a ghost. Your breakfast is at 8 o'clock. Oh, go on.
What a rules.
Sorry.
Glad you're here, Charlie.
It was a great surprise. We'll send a sandwich up here.
Thank you. My car is really in a ditch. I can't... Well, now, top of the morning to you.
And the rest of the day.
Morning, Sergeant.
What's that?
Porridge.
Oatmeal.
Ugh.
It's traditional, according to Mrs. McTaggart.
Fried eggs and bacon all round. 3 pairs straight up, strips on the side. I mean, who can eat this stuff, right? I beg your pardon. Never mind, I'll take care of it. I thought this was an English-speaking country.
We do have a language barrier, though. The dog. Bobby, he saw it all. And I'm sure he would tell us if he could. Now, come on, Bobby. You were in the room. Who did it? Who did it?
Hello. I'm sorry. You be visitors. I'm Duncan, the gamekeeper, as my father was 40 years before me. At least it was until I gave my notice last week.
I'm Stuart McMillan.
Aye. You're the nephew, then.
That's right.
Aye. You're blood kin. You've a right to the fish in the streams and the birds of the gorse.
This is Mrs. McMillan. Charles Enright.
Yeah, I just stopped by with some fish for the laird.
The laird's dead.
Dead?
Shot himself. According to the local police.
Well, why would he? Oh, he was old, sure, but sound of wind and limb.
Indeed he was.
I know it hurt the old man to think his castle couldn't even afford a gamekeeper. But why would he do it? He believed in life. A gamekeeper knows.
You see, the games consist of the traditional field events, plus a couple of Scottish goodies like tossing the caber.
And sword dancing and the heel and fling.
And the piping contest. Don't forget the piping contest now.
That sounds like a big job.
Oh, it is.
When does it start?
Well, day after tomorrow, and it's very big. I tell you, Nell and I, we were up until midnight trying to get the thing straightened out. Hey, Thomas, tell me.
Did you get caught in the rainstorm?
Oh, no, Nell did. We were working at my place. Thomas, is that platform all right?
I'll need more than a platform to win, so seeing that Duncan's entered.
Duncan? The ex-gamekeeper?
Aye.
Oh, Duncan's a fine piper. He's won the past 5 contests in a row. Tell me, why'd you call him the ex-gamekeeper?
Well, he quit a few days ago. I thought you knew.
Well, no, nobody told me that.
Oh.
You know, the stakes aren't holding very well. Did it rain last night?
What?
Well, of course it rained last night. Don't you
I
remember?
went to bed very early. Are you coming to the games, Mac?
You couldn't keep me away.
Us. You couldn't keep us away.
Hey, Gov, can you show us now?
Alfie!
Oh, no, that's quite all right, really. That I can show you. Mr.
Follinsby. Elf Follinsby.
Hello.
Gents Haberdasher, Chipping Camden. Oh, this is the Mrs. Flo.
Well, how do you do?
I don't suppose you've seen it.
It?
The monster.
Right.
Oh. Not yet.
You see, the best time to see it now, is in the gloaming down by the big rock. I can show you where it is now if you'd like.
Ah, would you?
Well, of course I would. See you later. Press on, troops.
Lovely.
Well, you've seen it all now. The Highland Games every 2 years, and an occasional tourist trying to get a glimpse of the monster. That's about all that keeps this place alive.
Are you coming, Nell?
Uh-huh. Well, goodbye, Mac. Mrs. McMillan.
Bye.
See you. English girls have such a lovely complexion.
Peaches and cream.
Charming girl. So gentle.
And such a liar.
Huh?
Well, their stories didn't exactly match on what they were doing last night.
Oh, Sally, they're engaged. How quickly one forgets.
You're right. We didn't always tell the truth when we were engaged.
Mm-hmm.
But we always told the same story.
Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Crofter's Cottage?
Right.
Right.
A widow named Annie Gray lives here. She leases the place for the shooting season. Round and back. Let's go this way.
Nine o'clock. Edge of the block.
Hello.
Howdy, friends. I'm Houston Gorman. I'm the tenant here. And this is Annie Gray, my pretty landlord. Oh,
hello.
Landlady. Say hey to the folks, Annie.
It's nice to see you again, Annie.
Good to see you, Mac.
I'm Stuart McMillan.
Commissioner, San Francisco Police. Proud to make your acquaintance, sir.
How do you do? This is
And
my
this
wife.
must be your beautiful wife. Sally, isn't it? Well, Sally, you welcome to Crofter's Cottage.
Thank you.
Come on over, you folks, and sit a spell.
Thank you.
Of course, we knew you were in town. I tell you, when you've been away from the good old U.S. of A. long as I have, why, you know it when folks from God's country land here. No offense, Annie. I tell you, sometimes I get so hungry for the sound of an American voice. You got us, Commissioner. We are litter bugs. Annie and I sit down here a lot watching that castle yonder. You know, I'd try to buy it from your uncle. Hey, it's a shame about him. Fine gentleman.
Uncle Michael wouldn't sell.
Looks like he could reach right out and touch them stones, don't it? Those are mighty powerful binoculars. No, he wouldn't sell, but his grandson will.
Jamie, are you sure?
Jamie's got expensive tastes.
And an expensive,
Fiancé?
you could call it that. Well, you know what these London girls are like.
Of course, we'll offer him a fair price. So I represent Globe Hotels, Inc. They want to run tours here. 7 glorious days and 6 terrific nights in a Scotch castle.
Scottish.
And you're determined to buy it for Globe Hotels, Inc.?
You just double bet I am. Oh, Commissioner. Are you asking, did I shoot him just because he wouldn't sell and Jamie will?
No. But let me ask you something. Well, you're an expert on rifles, huh?
I'm the best there is.
Would it be possible that the shot that killed my uncle could be fired from here?
No way. It is not only 2,000 yards across a valley with updrafts and crosswinds, but it's got to go through a 4-inch slit without hitting a wall. Another problem I'd have is, how do I get the fella to stand right still just inside the slit while I get the shot lined up?
That's a tough shot.
An impossible shot.
Well, somebody solved the problem. No offense.
None taken. He was your uncle.
Well,
Hey, Commissioner, how about joining us for a little grouse hunting tomorrow?
Oh,
You know what a grouse is, don't you, Miss McMillan? That's a pigeon with a live wire ad agency. I tell you, Duncan's coming and Ramsey.
Oh, well, I'll try to make it.
Mac, grouse hunting, that's killing little birds.
Well, that's the idea. Is that a deal?
That's a deal.
Oh.
See you. So long, Annie.
Nice to see you again, Mac.
I think Uncle Michael would like me to go on this hunt.
Commissioner.
Sorry to disturb you, sir, but Mrs. McTaggart heard some noises downstairs. Sounds like digging to me.
Digging?
Digging?
What's this down here, sir?
This is the oldest part of the castle, as I remember it. They used to call it the keep.
The keep?
Uh-huh.
Oh, how lovely. Where they keep people.
Sure you want to come down here?
If you're down here, you sure ain't gonna find me up there.
It's locked.
Or stuck. We'll never know.
Upstairs. There's someone upstairs.
Not anymore. It was an outside door.
Well, wait for me!
Sorry, sir, he got away. I just can't seem to run on turf. I'm better on asphalt.
The guy was really moving.
Mm-hmm.
Much faster than last night. I wonder why.
her down.
Painting your boots blue?
Oh no, I got that painting the judges stand.
Maybe we should separate. Beat down this hill and across the valley. I need a left flank.
See you later, Mac.
What we have got to do, Mrs. McMillan, is be logical.
Logical. An old man climbs up here once a week to do the bookkeeping for a castle that can't even afford a gamekeeper. He puts a trivet under his teapot to protect the top of the desk. But the top of the desk is marble. It is not affected by heat. Life is not logical.
Maybe not, but I have a theory. Now, according to my theory, the killer was trapped inside the castle last night.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Witness. The body was here, the rifle here. That door was locked, the window too small to get out of.
Right.
Ballistics has proven that the rifle was the murder weapon, and the powder burns tell us that it was fired at a very close range. Suicide, right?
Right.
Because if it was murder, the murderer would have been trapped right inside this room. Unless...
Unless he disappeared through the walls.
That's my theory.
You're kidding.
No, I'm serious. I'm talking about a secret passageway.
You're kidding.
Now, you might have noticed the last time I was in here that I scraped mortar off various parts of the wall.
I was wondering what that was all about.
Well, this morning I went into the village and I talked the custodian into letting me into the school.
And?
And they have a science lab there with some carbon dating equipment. It's pretty primitive and physics really isn't my field, but I made some tests.
And?
The mortar in this section of the wall is 500 years old. Over here, 300 years old. But within the 300-year-old area, the mortar is much more modern.
How much more modern?
Well, I can't really be sure. Maybe 5 years? Maybe only a couple of days.
What are we waiting for?
Right.
Max. Sounded like a firefight.
Are you all right, sir?
I'm in great shape for a man who's been shot at with a rifle.
Rifle? In a grouse area? Are you sure?
I know the sound of a rifle when I hear one, right?
Yeah, that was a rifle. Any deer on this parade?
Enough to attract more than a few hunters. Some of them are very careless.
Careless enough to fire 4 shots at me?
You're lucky you're not on your way to be stuffed and mounted.
Pretty good, not slow to go.
Yeah, well, let's see, that just about does it. Okay, here. Now let's
push it.
See if... Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it works easy. Hey, it's just like a door.
It's open back there, Sergeant.
Okay. Now,
It's a passageway.
let me see what's back there. You stay here.
Fat chance.
It's like being inside of a well.
It's like a room, sort of.
I don't see any way that a man should get out of here.
You realize who you found, of course.
Yes, the long-lost Fergus McCready, and we weren't even looking for him.
Now, it's my theory that the murderer came to this room sometime before your uncle. He opened this secret door, went into the chamber, closed the door behind him, and waited. At last, your uncle came up the stairs. He comes into the room, closes this door, locking himself into the room. Then the murderer opened the secret door, crept out of the passage, and killed your uncle. Bang! I kill him. I hear the voices into the wall.
That could work. It's possible.
Charlie? Yeah? Would you mortar up the wall now, please? From the inside?
I guess he'd have to have long, thin fingers, wouldn't he?
Never mind, Charlie. Good try.
Well, my theory was good in the abstract. Just wasn't any good in the concrete.
Well, you know what my father always said. First, find your motive. Then you've got your murderer.
Everybody's got a motive. Jamie's the heir. Nell's got Jamie. Ramsey's a McCready, don't forget that. Houston wants to buy this place, and Annie Graves got Houston. And Duncan quit because no one knows why. Anyone else?
Mrs. McTaggart. Well, I think she had a crush on the old man.
Unrequited love. Oh, I've had enough for the day. Let's call it quits.
Yeah, let's take a ride around the lobby.
Good idea. Mac.
All right.
It doesn't ever get dark in this country.
That's the gloaming.
Well, I think it's just about the most romantic part of the day.
We like a lot of light.
You didn't used to mind it before we got married.
You think of that time in Candlestick Park?
No, I was thinking of that time in Emeryville in the drive-in movie at 3 in the afternoon. And you told me they had a show in the afternoon.
They did. For the man who came around to check the sound system.
Mac, look! Is that a monster? Is that a real monster?
Oh, yes, yes.
It's gone. Oh, look, tea and scones.
Oh, not for me, thanks. But it was something with enough power to move through the water, well, like a monster.
Could it have been towed by a boat?
No, there was nothing above the surface except those fins, and it was absolutely silent.
Sergeant, it was so quiet you could hear that little carousel over at the games grounds.
Oh, you know what they call that, sir? That is called a side skirt.
But the one you found didn't have one. Wonder why? You know, I've seen something like this somewhere. Not as part of the armor, but separate, used for something. If your Aunt Eleanor gave you one for Christmas...
She wouldn't, darling. She's into modern.
Well, if she did, what would you do with it?
Well, I'd give it to Aunt Louise. Her birthday's in January. She loves useless things.
Part of Fergus' armor missing. That is strange. Perhaps it was stolen. Did you not say there was a break-in recently?
Within the past 5 years, according to Enright.
And now...
But why steal just part of the armor?
Mac.
And here he is to play the tune that caught the judge's ears. Up with the bonnets of Bonnie Dundee by this year's winner, Thomas Sinclair of Glenabbott.
Sinclair? But I thought Duncan was...
Duncan! It was a certainty.
Didn't make the finals. Short of breath he was.
Duncan!
Hi, Mac. You're still taking the high road.
In Scotland.
Let's take a walk.
Good idea.
Oh, Enright.
Excuse me, Commissioner, but there's a fly casting competition over there. I don't want to miss it.
I hope you catch a nice fish.
Bye, Sergeant.
Going very well, Jamie.
Yes, isn't it?
Is that the stand you painted yesterday?
Oh, yes, yes. I did a very good job, too, I think.
No,
huh?
no. It was blue paint on your boot. The stand's green.
Oh, well, I must have got that someplace else. Hey, McDougal!
Mac Nell says they're selling some terrific tweeds. You want to go over and look at them?
Huh?
You want to go over and look at them?
Two horses on the carousel. I'm just a nut for carousels. I'll see you later.
He'll do anything to get out of shopping. Come on.
Hi, Mac.
What is that?
It's paper tossing.
Well, it looks like he's throwing a telephone pole. Or a tree. Well, as Mildred would say, it'll never replace the roller derby.
Watch out!
Yeah.
Sally, are you all right?
You know, in our country, we try to keep to the left.
Ah, very good, Miss McTavish. You're really getting the hang of it.
Tell me more.
Boy, was I lucky. You're saving me from that caber tossing.
Look at Enright. You're not the only one.
Hey, what's the matter with you, Bobby? You gone daft?
Bobby.
Why, thank you, Bobby. I can use all the compliments I can get. Come on, Mac, hurry up. I'm dying for a peek.
You should learn the value of anticipation, lass.
There's a wee duck in Doris, just a wee drop, that's all. There's a wee duck in Doris, before we gang aboard. There's a wee wifey waiting in a wee button bend.
Hello, is my husband in there?
There's a wee duck in Doris, before we gang aboard. There's a wee wifey waiting in a wee button bend. If you can say it's a bob breaks moonlight next, you're all right, you can.
You look fabulous. Turn around. I want to see if your hem is straight.
This is one drafty castle, you know that?
Would you like to borrow some pantyhose?
Would you like the back of me hand?
You look great.
Is my sporran right? It's supposed to be hanging in the center.
Oh, the little purse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put a little lipstick in there. For me.
You know, I think Bobby prefers me as a Scotsman.
Keep your knees together, darling. I know what Bobby doesn't like. Did you see the way he was barking at Ramsey? And I've seen him barking like crazy at Duncan, the gamekeeper.
Oh, Sally, stop waiting for Bobby to solve my uncle's murder. Dogs bark. They also wag their tails. I've seen him do both at Duncan and at Ramsey, among others.
You decent?
Come on in, Mildred.
You call that decent? Go put some pants on.
We've been through that already, Mildred. What's up?
What time is this shindig?
In an hour, and it's not a shindig. It's the traditional turning over of the castle to the new laird, Jamie.
Well, the Great Hall is filling with Scotsmen, and Mrs. McTaggart is already passing out the booze.
Then what are you doing up here?
Aren't you amusing?
Tut.
Mrs. McT has never heard of drink coasters. By the time Jamie moves in, there are going to be rings all over that good furniture.
Oh, all that good mahogany. Those old-time lairds should have put their armor on their tabletops instead of on their warriors. You'll work it out, Mildred.
Yeah, well, don't say I didn't warn you.
Sally. Would you find Enright and meet me up in the tower?
Darling, what about the ceremony?
Oh, this time.
Mac?
Huh?
There's something that I've always wanted to know.
What?
What does a Scotsman wear under his kilt?
Later.
Mac?
Sir? Guests are arriving.
Just solved a crime. A crime that happened 300 years ago. Fergus McCready. And you put me onto it, Sally.
Of course I did. I did.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back 300 years. Remember the legend. The McMillan walled up Fergus McCready because he found him hiding in the castle the night before a battle. Figured him out to be a coward.
But he was really a thief.
Fergus came back to the castle, dug up the treasure, reburied it someplace else. And the secret died in the wall with him. That's why the treasure disappeared.
I put you on to all of that?
Sure. Remember the other day when you wondered why anybody would need a trivet to protect a marble tabletop?
You weren't even there.
Oh, well, I showed it to him. I know, you said it wasn't logical, but it seemed logical to me, so I...
The missing piece from Fergus's armor.
Well, how did that get in here?
Uncle Michael. Sometime in the last years, remember the new mortar? Uncle Michael found Fergus. Understood what this meant. Used it as a trivet so he could keep it around.
But why?
Fergus scratched the location of the treasure on it.
Well, why wouldn't Uncle Michael just dig up the treasure?
Well, Jamie, I would think. You can't get rid of a castle in a day, but you certainly can a treasure. And Jamie, being the spendthrift that he was, Uncle Michael wanted to wait and make sure that Jamie was mature enough.
Mac, this doesn't look like the map to a treasure. It says BQ3.
That doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't it?
Mm-mm.
Follow me. When we were down here before, it occurred to me that this floor looks like a chessboard.
Chess? I still don't get it.
Well, Sergeant, each chess square has a name, so you can write the game down. For example, BQ3 would be Black's Queen's third.
The only problem is there are more squares down here than there are on a chessboard, and furthermore, I can't tell which wall's Black's. Now, our digger has already done some testing. I'll bet we can catch him here red-handed tonight.
Suppose he doesn't dig tonight.
Tonight's his last chance. Jamie moves in tomorrow. Besides, he already learned that he can be heard upstairs.
Tonight there'll be a dance band and pipers.
Fire a cannon down here, it'd never be heard upstairs. So, Enright, you and I'll have to wait for him.
Mac, you can't.
Why not?
You're a big part of the ceremony tonight.
I can handle the surveillance, sir. Well, it's dark down here. I have the advantage of surprise. Besides, it's too damp down here for skirts.
All right, Charlie, but be careful.
Remember, one of those people upstairs is a murderer.
Good night, Sergeant.
Good night. What a way to spend an evening.
Mac, you wear the tartan very well.
Why, thank you.
Oh, he just puts it on and lets it sell itself.
No.
Want to dance?
Yes, let's.
Ooh, I should warn you about the castle tradition. Never a first dance under this roof between a husband and wife.
Far be it for me to go against a castle tradition. Excuse me.
She just made that up. Would you care for a fling?
Beg pardon?
Would you care for a fling?
Oh, you don't fling to this music, only the pipes. But I'd be honored to lead you in a foxtrot. George Macduff.
Sally McMillan. Lead on, Macduff. You know what they say about he who cries enough. You've heard that before.
Many times. Many, many times.
I see Nell is stuck with some big clod.
Isn't he your husband?
So you're right. I never recognize him when he's dancing with someone else.
Thank you very much, Mrs. McMillan.
Oh, you're very welcome.
May I fetch you something to wet your whistle?
Oh, that'd be nice.
I'll be right back. Meet me by the black wall.
Mrs. McTaggart. Mrs. McTaggart, is there a black wall anywhere about? They all look sort of beige to me.
The black wall, you said? That's not color. It's from chess. The north wall.
Well, what makes the north wall black?
The McMillan who built this place was a hound for chess. Wouldn't he play with the morning sun in his eyes? And always played white. So the south wall of every room is known as the white wall.
Does that mean that the north wall of the keep would...
Wrong, missus. Too many squares for chess in that chamber. It's across from the keep. That's the old chess room.
Thank you, Mrs. McTaggart. You've been very helpful. Man. Man.
Quiet, please. You cannot interrupt the ceremony.
I'm sorry.
Try a bit of the salmon, lad.
Maybe later, Mrs. McTaggart. Thank you. Sergeant. Sergeant Enright. Charlie? Charlie, it's me, Mrs. McMillan. It's okay, it's me. You're looking in the wrong room. It's across the hall. Sergeant, it's the room across the hall, and the north wall is the black wall.
Thanks to the missus, I know where to dig.
Sorry, Sergeant.
I'll take that. Come on. It's rightfully mine. Aye. McCready died for it and wrote the clue to find it. Aye. I'm a McCready. I thank you to turn round, Sergeant.
The scepter of the McMillan, strong and straight. All here bear witness that you accept it willingly, with all encumbrances thereto. The last man who carried it with great honor. I wish it and the family name the same good fortune in your hands.
Those present are bound to inform all those in their ken in these mountains that Jamie McMillan is the true and only possessor of all properties, honors, titles, and licenses pertaining to the Laird of Kinross. And henceforth, he shall be known as the McMillan. Up the McMillan.
Grabs, you don't it? I get that same funny chill like when they pick Miss America. It's a great show for the hotel.
Excuse me, have you seen my wife?
No.
You can let me go now. You don't need a hostage. They can't catch you now. You didn't quit your job. You got fired when Uncle Michael found you digging for the treasure, right?
You're a smart lass. Now be quiet. I have some hard driving to do.
Any idea where he was heading?
Well, sir, when I came to, I looked out the window and I saw a car going down the lock road very fast.
There's a chance. We could cross it a lot faster than Duncan could go around. Come on.
Ah, there aren't any boats. How'd you know it was Duncan?
He lost the piping contest. Why did he lose? Because he was out of breath.
Oh, he couldn't resist the chance to dig while the castle was empty.
Raced back to the games, met his accomplice.
Accomplice?
Jamie.
What?
Jamie.
What is it? Excuse me.
I need it. You're gonna run it for me. The Lockmoran monster.
Oh, come on now. You don't really believe there is such a...
Rope burns on your hands, blue paint on your shoes from the carousel, mud from near the lock, and I heard the music when I saw the monster.
I don't know anything about
I haven't
that.
got time to argue with you. You're gonna run the monster now.
The village needs a monster in order to survive.
What
That's
about
why-
my wife's survival?
Come on. I can cut across the lake a lot faster than they can drive around.
Brother Ben?
You could have killed me.
I can make that kibber sit up and play any lorry. I was only throwing you a scare.
And it was you that shot at Mac when he was on the grouse hunt.
Quiet. All we've done is scare folk so far.
Drive faster, Duncan.
There's none from the castle can catch us now.
Oh! Water is like ice.
Give Jamie the signal.
If you fall off of this thing, you'll freeze or drown or both.
Give Jamie the signal.
Yes, sir.
We're leaving now, Flo. I've got to be back at the shop Monday morning. So to hell with the bloomin' monster what's too shy to show himself.
It's all a fake, anyhow.
Flo, the lake.
Eh?
Do you see?
Oh, it's a blooming Scot. They'll never believe this in Wormsley Park.
Is it going, Flo?
What's that?
I'll move it.
Hey, Ben. Ben. Ben? Hey, Ben. Ben?
How did you get here?
If I told you, you wouldn't believe it.
The McMillan treasure.
Yeah, I'm touched. Yeah, and my friends all hope there will be enough here, so they won't be touched for a while. So, thank you, Duncan, for saving me the digging. If my Latin is reliable, these shares assure us of handsome dividends from all those people traveling the Northwest Passage to India. Yeah, through 1819.
There's more in there, Jamie.
Oh, look. It's a necklace. Yeah, modest but lovely. To be worn by the mistress of Castle Kinross.
Hey, you're selling this place to me.
As they say in your country, sir, no way.
Now, just a minute.
Up the McMillan.
It's a happy conclusion for you, McMillans. And as soon as we prepared a legal case against these two for the murder of the laird, you'll get your just revenge.
We ne'er killed the old man. Took his treasure, aye. But we're nae murderers.
I suspect they're right, Mr. Ramsey. A murderer would have dealt more harshly with my wife and Charles Enright. There's no real link between the treasure and my uncle's death. I'd like to propose a toast. Michael McMillan was more than a father to me. It was a rare privilege to know him. And I've not been able to prove, as I'd hoped, that he was murdered. But I would like to propose a toast to this man whose noble life cannot be diminished by the events of a single day. To the late laird, whose death, whose suicide, I will not accept, because it's simply unacceptable. To the late laird.
Come on, Bobby, step
Stay down or I'll never get this fly tied. Well, so I just thought that since the case is solved that, Miss McTavish has taken me to a secret place she knows where we can get in some good night fishing.
Just a second. May I? That's it. May I ask you all, Ramsey, Jamie, Houston, join me in the tower room in about 10 minutes? Come on, Bobby. Come on.
Come on, Bobby. Come on.
Thank you for your patience. I am happy to tell you that sometimes the unacceptable is also the untrue. Uncle Michael did not commit suicide. He was murdered, and in front of a witness. The witness, as my wife was the first to sense, is a dog, Bobby, and he's already testified 3 times. First, by barking at you, Duncan. Then at you, Mr. Ramsey. Then at Charles Enright. Or so we thought. Actually, he was barking at a fishhook. I'll show you why. Our murderer took a fishhook and line, which is almost invisible, attached it to a trigger of a preloaded gun before Uncle Michael came into the room, wrapped it around the butt of the rifle, out through the window, threw it up to the parapet above. Then he went up there and waited. Uncle Michael walked to the window, probably when he heard the sound of my voice from the driveway. Uncle Michael! Uncle Michael! One yank to pull the trigger. The second yank, much stronger, to pull the gun off its mounting. Bobby got nicked the first time, trying to capture that instrument that killed his master. Good boy.
But this is all pure speculation.
No, the line left marks at the top of the slit. And my wife and I saw the murderer.
We did?
Late that night. He had to wait till dark to make his escape.
Mac, why would he come back the following night?
He didn't. Remember that first night we saw a man running?
Mm-hmm.
Then the second night we saw a man running, only faster?
Mm-hmm.
Which puzzled me, because a man escaping always runs at his own top speed, which means that there had to be 2 men, one each night.
It was me the second time.
Yeah, you were down in the cellar digging. And the first night it was the murderer, who waited up on that roof until Uncle Michael could walk to the window.
But, Mac, how would he know when to pull the trigger if he's up on the roof?
Yes, of course. He couldn't see anything from there. Well, you could guess at it, I suppose.
Bad luck, Mac. It was a doozy of a theory while it lasted.
He's right. No way to know if the laird was in his sight.
Right. But what if there were 2 of them? The murderer up on the roof, and someone out there to signal him when to fire.
Where out there? There's no place with a clear view and cover?
Yes, there is. The Crofter's cottage. Mrs. Gray's place.
Well, but it's too far to fire.
Not too far away to observe. Through mighty powerful binoculars. What was your signal to Houston, Mrs. Gray? Everyone knew that Uncle Michael would never sell this place. But you knew that Jamie would. You had to sell this place to Globe Hotels, didn't you? Living off expenses you'd never earned. Wasn't that it? What were you thinking of, Mrs. Gray, when you stood there and watched the tower, smoked all your cigarettes and waited? Didn't you ever wonder how you could let this con man talk you into killing a laird?
Don't answer him, Annie. It's a trick.
What was your signal, Mrs. Gray? Did you raise an umbrella?
I lowered it. God help me, I lowered it.
Everybody stand right there. I'm really very good with this.
Thank you, Sergeant. You can go fishing now.
Thanks for everything, Mac.
We're really grateful.
You know, it's not going to be the same around here without you. Very, very quiet. The next Healing Games are not for 2 years.
I think the village will get by. I somehow have the feeling that the monster may appear again. Come on, Bobby.
They die hard, monsters.
Of course, Bobby goes with the castle, but if you ever get tired of him, San Francisco can always use another good detective.
We seen him, we did, as plain as radio day.
Yeah.
The Flying Scotty is, according to the new laird hereabouts, gone forth from his castle to recover his stolen treasure.
We have to get by.
Well, when's the best time to see him?
Any time in the gloaming.
We'll show you the best watching spots.
But you've got to have patience, mind.
And an eye moves light as a breeze through ever. Tall he is, 8 feet tall, I'd say.
A remarkable story.
And devilish handsome he is.
And somehow has the ring of truth.